Hey guys. Oh my God. What a day. I just came off of another live event with Ulta New. So I had a quick turnaround to get everything ready here for you guys for our first Running with Scissors live. I used to do these, it was a couple years ago that I would do these live streams called Running with Scissors. And it was over on Facebook. Never really got a lot of traction, but that was then and this is now, and I do something completely different. So I'm hoping that you guys really love it, and I want to make this into something that you will enjoy and can learn from. So please be putting in your comments and let me know what you'd like to see as we go along. So for today, because it's the first time, I thought I would do two cards. They've both been published out on my blog for some challenges that I'm a part of, Tic-Tac-Toe Challenge and Festive Friday. And I figure at least that's what I'll be sharing on these lives. So every week I'll have one or the other since they publish on opposite weeks. And I'm going to start with that today. And if you have questions along the way, of course, I'll answer them. And we'll just have a lot of fun playing with paper and ink and all sorts of other fun mediums. And I'll be introducing you to all sorts of really cool products and all sorts of great stuff. So you're going to see a couple of things when I flip over to the hands view. I'm going to be up in the corner. There's also going to be another comment section, and that's because I'm streaming to both Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. And I'm looking down because I've got my streams going there too, so I can kind of see what's happening, make sure that everything is live and up and running. If this works out well, I'll probably be investing in some other equipment, but I'm excited about it as a way to reach you guys in a more casual way than my pre-recorded videos, which I know you love, but of course, working and playing together can be a lot of fun too. So I'm going to flip us down to the hands view. And so now we're down to the hands, and you can see that I'm up here in the corner. And there's this little bar over on the right-hand side, and that's where the comments are going to come in at. So if I've got anyone out there, please don't lurk. Say hello. I hope you're out there. If not, I'm going to keep doing these for at least a couple of months, and we'll see what happens. And if you guys want to have me continue doing these. Awesome. So thank you, Ms. Tamp. I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you're out there. So thanks for joining me. Today, like I said, I've got two projects. One is from Festive Friday from a couple weeks ago. That challenge is still live. And what day is today? Today is Thursday. It goes through the weekend. It closes on Monday. So you can still play along with Festive Friday. It's festivefridaychallenge.com, and it's a just for fun challenge. We give you a list of 10 items in an inspiration list based around a festivity, an unknown festivity or a little known festivity. You know, there's a day for everything, right? So this time our day is National Unicorn Day, which is on April 9th. And our list of items are all kind of unicorny related. So those are a lot of fun. So you pick 3 items from that and create a project and then post it to our challenge to see if you could be a festive fave. Like I said, it's a just for fun kind of thing. And then the other challenge that's just for fun is Tic-Tac-Toe Challenge. So tic-tac-toe-challenge.com. And is how it sounds. You get a tic-tac-toe board and you have to pick 3 across, 3 down or diagonal, the elements to add to your project. So I'm going to start with that one actually. And this is the fun card that I did for that. And it's from a company, this stamp set here with the bottles is from a company that I recently found and totally fell in love with. It's called the Greetery, and they're based out of Iowa. So a neighbor, I live in Nebraska right now, and my husband's from Iowa, so I'm really glad to support Iowa artisans, and it is amazing. The stuff she does is amazing. She's got a new release coming out tomorrow, and I want everything. I can't afford everything, but I want everything. So anyway, let's take a look at that stamp set that I used for that. It's called Bottled Up, and it doesn't come in this. I buy these to organize my stuff, but it is a layering stamp, and she gives you these great layering guides to layer everything. And this is what it looks like. So it's a 3-layer on the bottle, and then all these little teeny look at how small those sentiments are. They're so small. I love them, though. They're totally cute. And you see they fit right on the little labels for the bottles. They're adorable. So we're going to start with this one. And then we're going to move into the other one from Festive Friday. And I actually don't have a sample for that one. I did it up for some samples for Creativation, and the company I did it for kept them. So I was working off of a picture, and today I'll just work off of memory. It's totally cute, and I know you're going to love it. So, all right. So for this one, I think the elements that I picked were stamping only, masking, and I can't remember what the third element was. But I blew it on the stamping only part because I ended up, even though I masked this, I did ink blending and embossing paste. So I don't know if that really counts as stamping only. I don't know. It doesn't really sound like it counts as stamping only. Like I should have masked it off and then stamped in the masking or something, but I didn't. Too bad. Can't always win. All right, so I'm going to start with the background though, because that needs a little time to dry. So this is just Post-it tape, and I'm just using it to mask off about, I don't know, a fat 1/2 inch. It's not quite 3/4. It's not quite, well, maybe it's closer to 3/4. I don't know. It works. All right, so I've got that whole area masked off. Actually, I am going to go a little thinner on this. As I'm looking at my sample, it was more like a 1/2 inch. So see, this is Post-it tape, so it pulls up really easily. And it kind of sticks to this mat too, which is surprising because not a lot will stick to a silicone mat, but this actually sticks well enough. So there. So I've got this little space now, and I'm going to use a blending tool with some Spun Sugar Distress ink to get the base color in there. And I probably need to get a re-inker for this because it's kind of dry. It might take me a little bit. But, you know, I can add in as much or as little as I want. So we'll see how much I get on here. This is a pretty light color anyway, so it's not surprising that I'm having to grab a lot of ink. All right, clean and simple. Oh, haha. Oh, okay, so clean and simple usually indicates lots of white space and that you don't have a lot going on. So a lot of times when you see a card that is like maybe just a single die cut with a sentiment and maybe a few embellishments, but lots and lots of white space in the background, that's clean and simple. Another way to interpret clean and simple is just like nice, clean and crisp lines, which is kind of how this one qualifies. There's a lot of white going on in here, and the pink is pretty light, so that would be clean and simple. But I don't know if it 100% qualifies for clean and simple. Like I said, I failed on this challenge, and I'm one of the designers, so but I was inspired by those items anyway, and they kept me from adding too much stuff and from like using the vellum instead of white to make these bottles too dark and things like that. So anyway, that's that. Okay, so I'm going to leave this masking on here, and I'm going to use a stencil. This one is from scrapbook.com. It's called Mixed Stripes. You can see it's got all sorts of different stripes on it. and it gives you like a nice kind of variegated stripe pattern. So I'm gonna tape it down so it doesn't move. Now this, I found this one to be kind of hard to work with because you see how these like to bend. I tried doing the masking and then the stenciling just using ink first, and then I didn't like the way it turned out. So I ended up doing it this way. All right, so one of the other companies I do work for is Imagine Crafts, and they're based out of Washington State. They just shut down, boo-hoo. And because of coronavirus, they'll be back. And they are the United States distributor for Tsukaneko inks. So Versamagic, Versafine, Versacolor, Versafine Clair, Stays On, Memento. That's Imagine Crafts, or that's Tsukaneko. So Imagine Crafts also makes some other things like this creative medium. And this is in their gold color. And I call it a color because it really is a color. It's not, I mean, it has a metallic sheen to it. Yeah, so you can see it when it's dry. It does have a sheen to it, but it definitely has a yellowness to it as well. So, but it dries really fast, and you can use it for all sorts of different things. So this is just one use for it. And yeah, it's really cool stuff. So I'm just going to use my palette knife to spread that on here. All right, just like that. Super simple. And just a little bit down here. I'm kind of glad that I've got that tape underneath here because obviously otherwise it'd be getting all over my silicone mat, but that would be okay anyway. So I like to wipe this off pretty quick. Actually, I would probably just go throw it in my sink. And then I use a piece of press and seal to cover this to keep it nice and fresh. So, and then when the press and seal breaks, of course, you can get another piece of it and just put it back on. So that keeps this nice and fresh and it doesn't dry out. You can do that trick with any paste kind of material. Just put a piece of press and seal over it and that works really well. All right, so that's all there is to the background. But this needs to dry for a few minutes. Like I said, the creative medium dries pretty quick, but it does need some time to dry. So those will go in the trash, not the trash, these are gonna go in the sink real quick. I just put some water on them to make sure that that doesn't dry on there. Otherwise I'll have to really scrub it hard. All right, so then this should just peel off. And this is basically trash now because it's got the creative medium on it. There we go. All right. So that's going to dry for a minute or two. And when we come back to it, it will be completely dry. All right. So in the meantime, let's talk about these stamps. Love them. Done with that and that. And I did actually stamp some ahead of time so we don't have to wait for those to dry too. You can use a heat tool to dry them. That will work as well. Okay, so vellum. I'm going to use some vellum to stamp on. And that kind of helped with the clean and simple because it gave it that light and fresh feeling. All right. So there's two different styles of bottles. And I'm actually going to just use a block to stamp them with. Since I'm just doing the two bottles, I can line these up pretty well. And I don't need to use a stamp positioner for that. So I'm going to start with the solid one. I'm going to do this in shades of green. So I'm using some Distress inks today. Normally I wouldn't use these for stamping, but for some reason they just felt like what I wanted to use. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so Distress ink, I'm starting with Cracked Pistachio. It's a nice light green. And I'm even okay with like the ink kind of bubbling up a little bit because I'm looking for that kind of texture, I guess. All right, so these stamp awesome. All right, the second one is this one here. All right, and so I'm going to do that one in Peacock Feathers. And that's going to give me just the outlines. And that kind of just lines up like so. Builder stamps are getting really, really popular. As you probably know, I do a lot of work for Holtz, and of course they've had builder stamps for ages. But it's fun to see them in something other than flowers too. All right, and then the third one is this really thin line here. And I'm going to use Evergreen Bough for that one. Right. Okay, so that's the first bottle. And you see how it's got like that sheen to it? When it's dry, it won't. So either you have to let it air dry, or if you use a heat gun, which you can totally use a heat gun, you just watch for the sheen to go from shiny to dull, and then you know that it's dry. So that's how you would do that. Now, if you're going to use a heat gun, you have to move it around a lot because vellum has a tendency to scald or burn. It will light on fire. So, okay, so the small one I'm going to do in some pink hues. So we're going to do that same spun sugar. All right, you can barely see that on there, but that's okay. And over here. So the middle one I'm going to do in Picked Raspberry, which is like a pink color, a hot pink. All right. And then the last one. Super simple. Right, and then you end up with these really cute looking bottles. Love them. Absolutely adorable. All right, so like I said, I did some ahead of time so that I could dry them. So I'll use those, and these I'll set aside to dry. Done with the ink. Okay, so I'm going to do the little sentiments as well. And this is a little, just a little bottle label. So I'm using VersaFine for this because it will give me some beautiful outlines. So crisp and awesome. And then, oops, I need that still. That's all right. And then I got to pick from all these little tiny sentiments, and they are small, like microscopic. So I did on my first one, I did Just For You, Enjoy Your Day. Let's do Wishing You the Best, Happy Birthday. And then I'll do this little berry that I've got down here. Okay. So the way that I did the sample one, or the one that I did for the challenge, is I did the little embellishment on the top of one, so like that, and then on the bottom of the other. So that way it kind of like helps the sentiment to flow, like the top and the bottom of a page. All right, so this makes me feel like I need reading glasses. Oh, so little. And they're slightly curved. And what does this one say? I can't read it. It says, wishing you the best, happy birthday. So I'll do the happy birthday one on the second one. And then VersaFine or VersaFine Clair is like almost required for these stamps because it's so small. Look at how small those are. They're so cute though. I love them. If I haven't mentioned it, I really, really love this stamp set. Okay. Put these away right away, otherwise I'll lose them. That does it for the stamp set. Actually, we're ready to assemble. Super fun. Okay. So I have a card base here. And I remember with this, so this is almost dry, not quite. We'll just let that over there. I'm going to grab a piece of foam. So I like to use Fun Foam. Sometimes instead of using foam adhesive squares, because it gives me more rigidity behind a project. All right, so I didn't buy the dies for these because, to be honest with you, I was on a little bit of a budget and I wanted to make sure that I was really going to like the stamps before I invested in the dies too. So now that I know that I like them, I'll probably get the dies. But these are easy enough to fussy cut. There's not like any kind of intricate cuts. So I just take my time and cut these guys out. So I have to ask, do I know you, Ms. Tamp? Because I don't know your avatar name. All right. Oh, you did. Awesome. Things might be a little bit of a delay, but I'm glad that you took that Altenew class. You mean the one, the Altenew class on the Altenew Academy or over on Facebook? Like a few minutes ago, a half hour ago, whenever that was. Half hour, an hour ago, I guess. Oh, Mission Inspiration. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really loved doing that class. And I'm doing a new series with Alta New called Sketch Starters with Nicole. And it's based on, obviously, the sketch portion of Mission Inspiration. So I did my first video earlier this month, and then my next video comes out on the 29th. So watch for that. And then like my next video will come up really soon after that. It's like the beginning of April, the 2nd, I think. So because I'm doing the inspiration challenge for April. So holy moly. Well, I'm glad you joined that class because it was really cool. Okay. Seriously, almost dry. Let's see. That one will almost work. Okay. It's so close to almost dry. Good. I don't want to flip it over though because I don't want it to stick to anything. So what was your favorite part of Mission Inspiration? Did you have a favorite project or a favorite day? This might be a mistake. Oh, no, good. Yay. All right, and see, I don't even worry about, like, if I don't have a piece that's quite big enough. That'll work. Oh, yeah. Oh, the color swatches. That was, I don't know if I would have thought of that, except that I was putting that class together. And I was like, oh, I have all of these colors. Like, how can I show a cool way to swatch them? And I was like, you know, I wonder if I could put a hole in these and how that would work. Because I had seen something kind of like that in a color wheel or something. I was like, oh, that's a really cool idea. And then it just popped in my head that it would be great for those swatches too. So, and then you can, like you said, you can kind of overlay them onto the magazine pictures to grab the colors and put it up to the screen. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. All right. So there's the base. Pretty cool. And then I'm going to pop this guy in. And what I love about the vellum is that it's see-through, right? So you're going to see that background through it. And this one I'm going to pop up with some foam adhesive. This little camera here takes a little getting used to. I always make these funny faces when I'm working, and now you're going to see them too. Yeah. It's kind of fun. All right, so some of these little teeny tiny squares I'm going to cut in half so that they just go on the darkest colored spot, and then you won't see them from the front. Oh, and then I forgot. If I put my label on there, then I can put another one back here. Ooh, reach. Oh, and you set up a mini card too. Awesome. Yeah, people were really excited about that idea to just make like a little mini version of a card to use as a template. I find it helpful because if you try to like freehand a square or a rectangle, it's never the right proportion and whatever, and I like doing it better that way. All right. Cool. So if you're following along with the sketch starters that I'm doing for Altenew, the videos, then you could take the sketches that I do and you could just redraw them in your sketchbook if you want, in your idea book, instead of like keeping them on Pinterest or whatever, if you want. All right. This is more clean and simple than this, for sure. So if you wanted to add the bling, you can, but you could just leave it without. So either way, but I do have my sequins here. So, and I've been kind of going crazy with sequins lately. I did was working on some projects for April for Altenew, and instead of putting like just 3 sequins, I was putting sequins all over. You'll see those later in the month for sure. All right, and I kind of like the way that I have these set up, so I'm just going to do the same thing. Yeah, the bottles come together really quick. So it's just a matter of them actually drying. So these are the ones that I actually stamped. And you can still see there's a sheen on them. So they're actually still wet. I would still hit these with a heat gun to dry them completely. But if you do, with the heat gun, they're dry like super fast. So I saw on a thread somewhere the other day, and I can't remember where it was, but people were talking about like how long it takes them to make a card. And if I'm working on like a brand new idea or something, it might take me a while because, you know, something might not work out or whatever. But when I go to like recreate a card for a project like this, I like them to be something that can be done relatively quickly. You know, I mean, like 30 minutes to instruct someone to make a card or whatever isn't bad at all. Of course, if I was doing this for a video, I'd be doing it really fast. So there we go. Yay. First card. So I will move these aside. And I'm going to do a little bit of restaging for our second project. So let's see. We need that and that. I've got trash over here. My room looks like a bomb went off in it. Okay. Okay. So my second card is going to use this guy from the Rabbit Hole Designs. It's a it's called Caffeinated Unicorn, and he's hilarious. And I'm going to do some watercoloring and some different things. So let's do the background again first, because it again needs some time to dry. So I have the Flowing Drop Stencil. And I'm going to use Brilliance inks. These are from Sukaneko. So I'll go for the purple and the pink. And I'm using a different creative medium. This is the shimmer. Oops. There. Okay. What do I need? I got my spray bottle. Oh, I need my spatula. All right. So for this one, I'm using a piece of multimedia or mixed media paper. And then I've got my stencil. Okay, so I'm going to do this kind of weird. Because I don't, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it kind of weird. Okay, so I'm just going to put some of this on here. This is the pink pearlescent orchid and pearlescent purple. All right. I'm actually going to turn this over for the clean side. I'm just going to spray this and kind of let it move. And then put it down on the paper. And that's going to get me the purple and the pink. And while that's sitting there, I'm going to grab the creative medium. This time it's in shimmer. So for Festive Friday, like I said, it was for Unicorn Day, and I picked shimmer or glimmer, glitter, and obviously unicorn and snarky sentiment. So I'm going to fill in the spaces with the shimmer paste. And I went for a piece that's larger than what I really need. So that way I can cut out the best piece of it when it's done. I think I taught that in the Alta New class. Mm-hmm. All right, and this has been contaminated, so I'm not gonna put it back in the container. All right, so pop this off. And there we go. So now what I've got is a shimmer paste in the positive space and then shimmery ink in the negative space. So it's kind of like a twofer. And this needs obviously to dry. So I'll pop that up out of the way. right. There. Okay. Yeah, I know, right? Really cool. All right. And then you can't really see it in here. But there's definitely some shimmer going on from both the ink and from the shimmer paste. So nice and subtle. All right. So then the next thing is to stamp our little tired unicorn. And yes, you're right, the delay is real. I'm watching it on my phone and my tablet on both, and it doesn't seem to be too long, like maybe 10 seconds, which is kind of normal. All right, so again, I'm using the VersaFine. VersaFine or VersaFine Clear will work, and I'm using, oh, haha. I was using VersaFine because I couldn't find my VersaFine Clear, and I just saw it. So either is really great for watercoloring. All right, so I got my little guy on here. And I'm not going to use the sentiments from here, but we are going to watercolor. And that means I need a brush. So just a water brush is good enough. And I don't have a palette, so I'm just going to use my block. And I wanted to make them kind of rainbowy. So I'll use all these colors. And this one, I'm not doing anything difficult here, like just like not going for any shading or anything super realistic. Because I mean, it's a unicorn, right? So I just wanted to get a lot of color and glimmer to meet the challenge requirements. Okay, I got that under my nail. Yuck. And then I need some yellow and this other purple. All right, so that's pretty good. I guess I need to do like some color around. And like I said, I don't have the I have a picture, but I'm not going to pull it out. Okay. So let's do, no, let's not. Let's do, I want something kind of darker. So I'm sure I could have pulled out an Imagine color, but they're not close at hand. So this is Chipped Sapphire. And of course, Distress inks are really great for watercoloring with. All right. Really water this down a lot. Just do some light blue. There. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this is Midnight Black versus Magic, so it's like a chalk ink. I really didn't need a whole lot of that, just a little bit to make some gray. Then I'm going to take some more just to accent under his eyes here. His mascara is running. There we go. And then a black coffee mug. There. See quick. Oh, yes, the fox. He's so adorable. Yeah, when I was coloring him, I thought, you know, this fox needs some stubble. That was too good. All right, so there he is. And he's just got a little bit of shimmer in his mane from the Brilliance pads, because those are shimmery. So that's how I got all of those elements into, from the challenge, I should say. Oh, okay. And these are super cute. So I love that these stamp sets are so small. So they're like, you know, these little tiny 3x4s or whatever, and that makes them really affordable. And then you can get the die, which is just the single die, which again is really affordable. So to have the whole collection of is super easy to obtain. They've got an octopus, which I have, and then the unicorn, the fox. There's a cat. A whole bunch of them. I think they just came out with a goat. All right. There we go. Love it. Okay, let's see if this is dry. Almost, actually. I think I might go hit this with the heat gun because the back is really wet, because I put the water on it. Yeah, so much better. So just that little bit really made that dry. All right. So I got that cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. And we'll just pop that onto... Oh, really? That's pretty good. I'm surprised. All right. It still feels like it should be tacky, but it's not coming up on my hands, so. Okay, so let's get a little sentiment on here. This is a great sentiment set. It is from Honeybee Stamps. It's called Blah, Blah, Blah. And for my sample, I did I Can't Even, right? So I think there's a lot that you could do on here, right? Let's just do more coffee, please. Okay. All right, so more coffee, please. I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to leave it in one piece or if I'm going to cut it up. So let's put this guy on here first and see what we think. All right, so you know what's so cute about this guy is his little slippers are narwhals. They're adorable. They're so cute. So unlike the fox, I didn't ground him and I'm not going to. He's just kind of floating in the air. He might benefit from some floor though. Although he's a unicorn, he could probably float if he wanted to. So I could just do that. But I don't know. It's just not working for me. Let's do this. I like it. Well, oh, yeah, no, it's a little narwhal. So they're like little fish with the little horn like a unicorn, right? They're so cute. All right. So, to my audience of one, Thanks for joining me today. This was kind of a impromptu, like I didn't get it out to my list and advertise it because I wasn't going to start until next week, but I thought, why not? Let's do a soft start. So here we are. And I think it went pretty well. So if there's anything that you want to see me do here in the future, I was thinking, because I'll only have one card, because now I've caught up with all of my challenge cards. So next week I'll do my card that'll be coming out for Festive Friday. And so we'll do that. And I thought maybe I would do a follow on, like from a sketch starter, to do another project based on the sketch or something like that. So all sorts of things that I could do, but I want to do what my audience would be interested in. So if you have any suggestions or things that you want to see, let me know. You can leave a comment here. You can leave it over on Facebook, wherever. So that's it for today. Yeah, you got a total private lesson today. Yes. I don't mind because I like to create. So I'm glad you stopped by. And I'll be back same place next week. So I hope to see you here. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll have lots of videos between now and then. So I'll see you around.